am back with a super highly requested video. This is how I take Instagram photos, and I've gotten this question so many times, both here on my YouTube channel and on Instagram. And if you do not already know, I have a how I edit my Instagram photo video, which I will link below. It is one of my most watched videos actually, so if you have any questions on how I edit any of my photos on Instagram, you can check out that video. But this is sort of a building off of that video, and it's how I take the photos. And I feel like you first have to take it and then you have to edit it. So I thought I'd make a video for each, and this is how I take my Instagram photos. So I'm gonna show you guys 4 different types of photos, which I think covers a majority of my personal Instagram page. And also make sure to follow me on Instagram. I'll put it on the screen, a little self-promotion right here, just because I love Instagram. I'm always posting on there, and I feel like my Instagram is kind of inspirational. I love looking at it myself. So if you wanna follow my Instagram, it's just I'm Drew Scott, and I'll put it on the screen for you guys. So the 4 different kinds of Instagram photos I'm gonna show you guys how to take, and just a few tips on each are outfit of the day pictures, flat lay photos, and then food pictures, and then on the go, just random photos. So the first type of Instagram photo I wanna talk about are my outfit of the day photos. Since my channel is primarily fashion based, and since my Instagram is primarily fashion based, I post a lot of outfit photos, and the first thing I wanna mention is that a lot of the outfit photos you guys see on my Instagram are taken with a professional camera, so I'm not gonna go into detail on that. That'll be another video in the future. I do take a lot of outfit photos on my phone as well, but just a good majority are on my camera. So the first tip for taking outfit of the day or outfit photos on your phone would be to make sure that the photographer or whoever's taking the picture gets down as low as possible. The lower they get the camera down, the taller it's gonna make you look against whatever background you're using. The second tip is to make sure that your background isn't too cluttered or there's not a lot of stuff in it. I personally like just to use solid walls or like a slightly textured background or slightly patterned wall. And then my third tip is to make sure that all of the lines, the horizon lines, so for example where the floor meets the actual like wall, for example, is straight. It is completely horizontal across the screen. Having a skewed line really creates a very awfully aesthetically unpleasing Instagram photo, if that makes sense. So I think making sure all of your lines are always straight, either vertical or horizontal, really makes your photo look a lot nicer and cleaner. So the second type of Instagram photo is what I personally call, and a lot of people call, a flat lay. And this is essentially a photo that you take directly from above. So you would be taking the photo from above, and then there's objects here. So my 3 tips for flat lay photos are to first make sure that your background is not too clustered. Don't take it on something that's super patterned or super crazy, because you're gonna want your objects that you're taking the photos of to really pop out. Second tip is to make sure that the items that you're taking photos of, you rearrange them and you create different arrangements of them before you take the photos. Make sure that you really like what you're doing and you're arranging them in a certain way that you think is aesthetically pleasing. And then my third tip is to make sure that some of the items actually stick out of the frame. So if you have a frame and your photo is a perfect square like this, which I take most of my photos in squares, maybe you want to have something that is halfway sticking out and halfway sticking in the frame, and that will create visual movement and it looks like the photo goes on forever. The third Instagram photo that I'm going to be talking about are food pictures, and food pictures are really fun. I think that they just create a nice little ambiance in your certain feed or your Instagram page. So my 3 tips for the food pictures are to make sure that firstly you have good lighting. You're not going to want to take a food picture at typically dinner time, just because the lighting is normally dim and the photo is not going to turn out clear or crisp. So typically kind of tend to take your photos at breakfast time or lunchtime if you're taking them of a certain meal. And the second tip would be to make sure that you add accessories. So place your sunglasses on the table, place your wallet on the table, place your jewelry on the table, something that just adds a little bit more to the photo and fills in the space, because you're not just going to want just a random plate and nothing else in the background. Maybe add a few other items. And then my third tip would make sure that if you're taking it for in a group photo or you have a lot of people that are eating, make sure no one eats anything before you start taking the pictures, because you're gonna want your food photos to look as clean and as polished as possible. You're so far away. You're so far. For the last kind of Instagram photo I'm gonna share with you guys how to take is just my random on-the-go photo. And what I mean by that is just something that you're just out and about and you see something you like. So my first tip for these kinds of photos are to make sure that all of your lines are lined up. You can definitely skew them because that can be a super cool look, but just make sure that it's skewed in a way that it looks actually skewed, and it's not just slightly skewed in a way that it looks like you didn't take your time to really line up the photo, if you know what I mean. My second tip for on-the-go photos is just to try different angles, zoom in, zoom out, take it from the side, take it from the back, take it from the bottom, take it from the top. Try different angles and see what looks the best. And my last or my third tip is to add your hands or your body parts, not like your gross body parts, but like your feet and such, into the photo. So like for example, if you have a coffee, maybe add your hand into the photo and take a picture holding your coffee, and that can just give a little bit more of a visually interesting photo than just like a plain coffee cup. Add your hand and then you have some skin and some hand, and it shows the viewer that you're currently present.
I wanna be next to you. Next to you.
So those are my 4 different types of Instagram photos that I am going to share my different tips on how to take. So I hope that gave you guys a little bit of insight on how I take my Instagram photos, or like how my process is when I'm thinking about taking them. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram. It is @I'mDrewScott. I post all the time, and I think you guys would really enjoy my Instagram page. You can comment, rate, and subscribe on this video if you'd like to. Definitely subscribe for future videos. I make like 2 or 3 a week, so you might as well stay tuned for more. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you in my next one. Bye, everybody.